What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Feed the Beast Infinity Evolved Expert Mode. Oh yeah, guys. So, today I want to use the mob grinder that we created at the end of the last episode. I want to start setting up a way to automatically kill the Wither boss. Okay, so in order to do that, we are going to need wither-proof blocks. Cool. So let's look up the different types of wither-proof. So we just search NEI for wither. We can see there's a few different blocks in here. We got Draconium Infused Obsidian from Draconic Evolution. This block is wither resistant. We have Reinforced Obsidian from Ender IO, which is wither proof. And then we have the Runic Dungeon blocks, which are wither boss proof as well. Okay, so the Draconic Evolution one requires Reinforced Obsidian from Ender IO to make one of these. Yeah, that's a lot. Where we could just make these blocks straight away and use those to block the wither boss. All right, so these are out of the question. Let's look at this particular block. So in order to make one of, oh no, I guess we make 4 of those with one recipe. So it's 4 crushed obsidian, 4 the reinforced stone. This is the one where you have to make the metal scaffolding, spray it with the CF sprayer, the construction foam, and then we need the reinforced metal from Steve's carts too. Okay, so that is this hardened mesh and all of this stuff. We've done this before. Obsidian plus a diamond makes 2 of those. We need a total of 3 of those smelted with some iron and some of this stuff. And then we need 4 more of those to make this iron bar. Yeah, it is kind of expensive. And we get 5 of these stabilized metals, which can melt into 1 reinforced metal, which can turn into 4 reinforced blocks. So actually, you know, thinking about it, that's not super expensive. We might look at this. I don't know. The reinforced stone kind of makes me not want to, because that's just kind of a pain to make. There's also these dungeon bricks from Runic Dungeons. So in order to do this, we need to get ourselves some of the Runic Dungeon bricks. And let's see. I thought there was, yeah, here we go. So in order to get the dungeon bricks, we need to use a key or the magical chalk, and then surround it with some blocks, and that gives us 8. Now, the last time I've done this, I believe I did this in FTB Infinity. You keep the key, so you don't lose the key, so you can just do this indefinitely, just as long as you have the stone bricks to go around it. Yeah. So anyway, we need obsidian infused versions of these blocks, which is those plus 4 obsidian, gives us 9 of these dungeon bricks. All right, and then to turn those into wither-proof, we need compressed obsidian around each one. So that is 9 times 8 obsidian with 1 of these bricks gives us 1 of these. Yeah, so that's pretty expensive. In fact, I think the Ender IO one is going to be the cheapest route. I mean, it is a lot of crafting to get to this point, but I think this is probably going to be our best option. Now, I know we're going to need a lot of obsidian. We've already made a bunch previously. We have about 8,000 obsidian in our system. Yeah, and I've crushed a lot of that as well. Obsidian totem, yeah. So anyway, we have the obsidian. Yeah, if we're going to do the Runic Dungeons, that's going to give us, what, about 1,000 of these? Oh, less than that. I'll probably give us about 800 of these in the compressed form, which you need 8 of those to turn into 1 block, so we'd be able to make about 100 of the wither-proof boss or wither boss proof blocks. Yeah, anyway, I don't think that's going to be good. So I have over here a bedrockium drum. I am making a bunch of lava, piping it into here. The bedrockium drum is something we haven't made before in this mod pack, but yeah, it is 6 bedrockium ingots, a couple of gold pressure plates, and a cauldron. We have a lot of the bedrockium right now. We have plenty of plutonium and the uranium and all that stuff to make the mox fuel, and we could smelt that down. I made a stack of this stuff a while ago. So yeah, I ended up making one of these bedrockium drums. I don't know how full we're going to get this, but I just wanted to collect a lot of the lava for right now. It is using a heck of a lot of power. I have 3 lava fabricators going right now, and that is that's draining more power than what we are currently making. So yeah, I can't let this go for forever, but I did want to collect a whole lot of lava. So we have, well, we just had leet buckets there a minute ago. Yeah, we have 1,345 buckets right now. So we have a lot. Each bucket turns into an obsidian, and then we can use the igneous extruder to turn that into the obsidian. with the machine. So yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So I think what I want to do, I'm going to make a whole lot of this reinforced obsidian from Ender IO. Yeah, I think this is probably going to be the best way. The reinforced stone is going to be a pain, but we can make that. We just have to use the construction foam sprayer and all of that. Yeah, let me get to some crafting here, guys. See how many of these we can make before I get tired of crafting, and we'll be right back. I tell you guys what, making all that construction foam and spraying it all over the metal scaffolding and all of this stuff, that takes a minute, and then that stuff is really difficult to break. I can't wait till we get to the point where we have a tool that will instant break, like the Vajra or something along those lines. I can't remember if the Draconic Evolution is an instant break tool. I think it might be. But anyway, we will look at that way in the future. We're not quite there yet. So I made enough of the reinforced stone. I made 4 stacks worth. Yeah, so that's a lot. And we'll end up getting 4 stacks of this the witherproof reinforced obsidian. So I was looking, this draconium infused obsidian, this stuff requires the witherproof blocks from Ender IO. So I think we're going to end up making some of this stuff. Now, the reason why I want to make that is because if we go into this tablet here, looks like it lost my place. There is a spot, yeah, Draconic Portal. So this is similar to like the Mistcraft portal, except obviously it's way more expensive. So it requires all these blocks, and it says you can make this up to 150 by 150 in size, so it can be a really huge portal. We just have to make this one receptacle block, and then the rest of it made out of this draconium infused obsidian. Yep, so it requires a draconic core, some iron ingots, one of those blocks, the witherproof ones, and then a dislocator pedestal, and that's something I've actually never made before. Let's take a look at the dislocator pedestal. Is this thing like stupid expensive? No, that is really, really cheap. Oh my goodness, that is really cheap for this mod pack. Okay, well, yeah, and then we have to make one, a dislocator or advanced charm of dislocation. It said we can use either one of these and we click it on the thing. I don't know if like it accepts that item and we no longer have it while it's in there, or if we just set it by clicking on it. I really don't know how this works because I've never used it before. So I think what we'll end up doing is just making one of these level 1 charms of dislocation, set it where we want it, and then place that in a receptacle in the portal. So the idea is, I don't think I've explained this yet, is we're going to do similar to what we did on the Hermitcraft Feed the Beast servers. We're going to have an automatic wither boss creator, probably using what are those things called? The autonomous activators? Yeah, we'll place the soul sand, and then we'll place wither skulls on top of it. It'll create the wither boss. The wither boss will sink down into a portal, and we will warp it into a wither boss proof room. That's the idea. So first things I want to find out, this reinforced obsidian, let's just make 1 recipe's worth. If I place this, can I break it, and how hard is it to break? Okay, that's not that bad. Whoops. Which one? This one? I don't think it's this one. No, it's this one. Get back in there. Okay. So this stuff isn't super difficult to break. It's about the same strength as obsidian. So we don't want to place a lot of it and then have to move it. But that's good to know that we can break this stuff. So I'm just going to go ahead and make all of these. So there's 1 stack, 2, 3, and then 4. Cool. All right, so we got a lot of these wither-proof blocks. Unfortunately, I don't know if there is a way that we can turn this into a clear glass. I think maybe the runic glass from Runic Dungeons is the only way we can do that. I would like to see inside and see what's going on while this thing is happening. Let me click. I don't think we can do it while we're in NEI, or while we're in the AE system. Can we click uses on this? Does it show like some kind of a glass that we can make? Oh, we can use that for deep storage units. Huh. I don't know if I ever saw that recipe before. I must have. Okay, yeah, it doesn't look like there's a way we can make the reinforced obsidian into glass, so we might end up making some of these a little bit later so we can see inside and see what's happening. But yeah, for now, I think I'm going to work on getting a dislocator pedestal. I'm going to make a charm of dislocation so we can set a spot where we want, a mob teleported to. We'll do some testing on this thing and see how this portal works. Yeah, let me go ahead and get some stuff done, and we'll be right back, guys. All right, guys, so I've been playing around with some ideas here. We're going to use the same method, like I said before, that I did in the FTB Infinity series to spawn the Wither boss. So we're going to be using autonomous activators. Now, I was kind of playing around with these just to kind of see how this is going to work. So the autonomous activator, when you place a block inside of it, you can set this for a redstone mode, like if it only gets a high redstone signal. It can place a block in front of it. You can break blocks. You can tell it to use, every other item. We'll probably just do first slot only, or I guess it really won't matter because this is going to be completely full of soul sand, or it's going to be completely full of wither skeleton skulls. But yeah, anyway, we're going to use this to place blocks. So the way this is going to work is we need one on the bottom, then we need a row of 3 in the middle for placing soul sand, and then we're going to need 3 more on top of all that to place a wither skeleton skulls. Cool, so we need to do this in a specific order since you can't place wither skeleton skulls in midair. So we need to make sure that the soul sand is placed first and then the wither skeleton skull. So I was kind of playing around with a method of doing this. I'm using a timer from Project Red. And then I'm also using a pulse former from Project Red. Now the reason why we want to do this is we want to pulse the bottom set of autonomous activators first. We want that to place the soul sand. And then we want to pulse the top ones to place the wither skeleton skulls. So I kind of laid out some redstone here so we can see the difference between these two pulses. So if I let this lever go, this timer starts and it'll emit a pulse that way and then over here, right? Cool. So this will be the soul sand and then the skulls on top of that. And we can change this and make it closer together if we wanted to by that repeater. But I think that's going to be too fast. I was kind of messing around with that. Maybe that will be fine. I don't know. I think 4 is going to be the safest, at least to test it. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to put it on 4. We're going to have a lever like this, so it's automatically placing the soul sand, then the wither skeleton skulls. It's going to create a wither boss. It should fall down, and then we're going to go into a portal. Cool. So this is how the automation process is going to work. For right now, we could probably set this up using a button or something along those lines. But yeah, this is how we're going to spawn the wither boss. Now, let's see. Let's go to the end. Yeah, we'll go here. I was trying to figure out where I wanted to place this whole contraption, and I was going to do it in the runic dungeons. And actually, you know what? Let's go to the runic dungeon real quick before we go to the end. So yeah, I was trying to figure out where I wanted to place this because I know before when I was killing wither bosses in the runic dungeons in the previous Infinity series, we'd get keys and Nether Stars and things like that from the boss. Well, I've killed a few more since then, since the last time we've done here. In fact, I was trying to get it so I'd destroy these blocks up here. But yeah, I wouldn't get those destroyed. It did destroy all the pillar blocks down here. So yeah, anyway, there wasn't really a good spot that I could see to spawn the wither boss in and then, kill it in here. And it wasn't dropping the keys, so I kind of ruled this out. But I did try spawning one up here in the corner so it would try blowing up these blocks. And what happened was I backed away, I came back, and the boss was gone. It was outside the runes. I was like, what the heck? But yeah, you can get outside of the runic dungeon. I went out here and I killed it. You can get out there if you do that easy enough, and you don't go down too far. There is enough room for you to fit. Alternatively, you could throw an ender pearl like out here where there's an opening. So that's what I did. I went outside here and I killed the wither boss. But yeah, it doesn't look like it'll be able to destroy these blocks, even though it's destroyed a good portion of them. So anyway, I ruled out the runic dungeon just because it seemed like a kind of pointless endeavor since we're not going to get anything special from it. And it's kind of a pain to deal with that dimension. So I think the end is going to be our next best choice. So over here, I placed down a little platform. This is by our Enderman farm. I placed down a little platform here of reinforced obsidian, and I have used this charm of dislocation to mark the exact center right where this torch is, facing this way, not that that matters. So the torch is right in the exact center. That's where this is bound to. And then I went into a creative world just to verify that this stuff here with the charm of dislocation and this dislocator receptacle. Yeah, I was afraid that this thing, it says 20 uses remaining. I was afraid that we'd only be able to teleport 20 wither bosses and then the thing would just go away. But it looks like you have unlimited uses when this is placed inside the dislocator receptacle. Also, I didn't want to place this portal untested and then break all those blocks and make sure it was in the right spot. So the idea is we're going to have a room here. It's going to be 3x3 on the inside, and we're going to teleport the Wither boss right here to the center. So we're going to have like blocks along here, and this is just going to be a completely enclosed room for the Wither boss to spawn into. I think a little bit back over here, we're going to have our autonomous activators set up. So we'll create the Wither boss. It will fall down into the portal, and then it'll be warped right over here. Yeah, that's the basic idea. So I need to get a few more things together to make this happen. I'm going to place those autonomous activators, fill them up, give a few tests. We'll probably come back real quick to see the first one happen and make sure that we can actually fight it the way, or make sure it actually spawns over here and create it the way we want to. Yeah, let me get a few more things done and we'll be back, guys. All right, so this is what we got set up so far. We have our 7 autonomous activators right here, and then on the back we're using the Ender IO conduits. So we have powered conduit. This is just the lesser version. Which one is this? This is this one, the 640 RF per tick. As far as I remember, the autonomous activators only use 1 RF per operation, so per block place. So it doesn't use that much power, so we don't need a lot. And we had a bunch of these hardened flux ducts made from previously, so I just made up some of these servos. Yeah, anyway, so we're using the 640 RF per tick conduit, and then we have the insulated redstone conduit. So the bottom 4 are set to the red channel for the redstone. You can do that by going to the redstone tab in here and coloring it red. It's red by default, actually. You can set this to strong signal or not. There's a little checkbox here. You don't want that set because if you do a strong signal here, that's going to, output a redstone signal to the blocks that are touching it. And you don't want that. So yeah, it'll be on the weak signal, the default. So it should only provide redstone to this block, and we have that set for the bottom 4. Now the top one is set to green. Again, you go in here and you just, click the little button and change it to the green or whatever different color you want. And yeah, we're not doing the strong signal. Okay, so we have our timer set here, and we are outputting the timer's output to just a piece of redstone dust, and that is connecting to the red channel on the conduit, and then that redstone dust goes into the repeater on the 4 ticks like we saw before, just kind of wraps around a few more pieces of dust and into this pulse former, so it only outputs 1 tick and not the 4 tick long pulse or whatever from the repeater, and then that goes to the green channel. So let's check this out. We just go ahead and put a block. I'm just using stone bricks just so we have a place to stand on. But anyway, we can just put these blocks in here and we can see that the bottom ones output first and then the top ones. All right, so we'll flip the lever on. And there we go. But as you can see, it's done this incorrectly. That doesn't look like a Wither boss, does it? Nope. All right, so let's go ahead and break these. There's one small little change we have to do. Now, for whatever reason, these autonomous activators, when they place a block, they try and place below. I don't know why. There's aim level that you can mess with, and I think I've done this before, and I couldn't really get it to work that way. So the way I had this working previously is I just used like glowstone nooks or something, some kind of a micro block, just right here. This really shouldn't get anything caught on it. I mean, yeah, things could potentially get caught on there, I suppose, but we really don't have to worry about that. So anyway, that's filling up this block, so it can't place a block here. Let's turn this back off. All right, let's go ahead and put some stone back in each of these guys. Like so, and we'll put the top ones in here. These will be the Wither skeleton skulls on the top row, obviously. All right, so we'll turn that back on. And there we go. That's what we want. So this will be the soul sand. These will be the Wither skeleton skulls. That should form a Wither boss. Now the next step is we need to get the portal in the bottom here. Yeah, I'm not sure what the best way to do that. I'm trying to think of where we want this portal. I'm thinking it's going to be like a 3x3 on the inside just to make sure the Wither boss will be able to fall through. I think the Wither boss can actually fall through a 1x1. But I want to be safe. I don't want this thing to not fall through, explode, and then wreck all this stuff. That's for sure. So anyway, let me go ahead and lay out a portal real quick. We'll give that a try, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, so here is a 3x3 portal frame area. Well, I guess it's like 15 blocks or something. Anyway, whatever, it doesn't matter. So this charm of dislocation, this is set to the center point of this witherproof block area. So all we gotta do is just click that right into the dislocator receptacle, and that turns on a portal. It's got some cool animation there. Goes into blackness. So if I just fall down in there, I get immediately warped. Yeah, that's what we were looking for, and I get warped right into this torch facing this way. Not that the direction that I'm facing matters, but yeah. So that's how that works. Now, if we shift right click on this, we get the charm back. If we hover over it, we can still see it says 20 uses remaining, so it does not use any of the uses like you normally would if you right click on this thing, I do believe. So anyway, we're going to stick that in there. That's how we're going to move the Wither boss over. So it's very, very similar to the Mistcraft portal teleportation, but it's slightly different. And more expensive, obviously. Okay, so the next thing I need to do is I need to fill this in full of glass or some kind of material to keep the Wither boss, and we will give it a test go. We still need to hook up the mob grinder over here, so we're going to need to provide power to that. We need to figure out where we're going to put the drops. Yeah, there's still a little bit more to go, and I need to completely enclose this in the wither-proof blocks to make sure bad things don't happen. Okay, so let me go ahead and make some more progress and we'll be back, guys. All right, guys, so I have a question for you. This isn't a trick. This isn't a riddle. It's an actual question. So our power totem that we have here, like this first resonant energy cell, for instance, you can see this is filling full of power, but all the ones below it are empty and there's a little thing at the bottom. So the way these are set up, this has a maximum input of 32,000, maximum output of 32,000. It's configured so it receives power from the top and sends to the bottom. So the maximum amount it can get is 32,000, and the maximum it sends is 32,000. So why are we gaining power? The one below it that is sending power to is set to receive and send 32,000, 32,000. So it's like this one isn't receiving as much, or this one is receiving more than what it says. One way or the other, there's something wrong here. Let's try, replacing this bottom one. Basically, this number should not be moving if it is, in fact, receiving and sending 32,000 at the same time. But obviously, there's something else at work here, and I don't know what it is. Yeah, there's no other connections on the back. It's not sending side to side. Let's try breaking this one and replacing it. Oh, come on. It's going to take forever because I'm flying. There we go. And place. So now, yeah, it's still gaining. Why? Why is that still gaining? That doesn't make sense. I don't get it. All right, guys. So we have a 5x5x5 witherproof area here. So it's 3x3x3 on the inside. I put the mob grinder here, so the little fan thing is spinning and it's facing away. On the other side of this, it's got like a skull with a couple of swords drawn on there. That's the way you want facing towards the mobs. The mob grinder says in the book that it can do a 7x7 area in front of it. So yeah, I think we should be good. That's one block off the ground. And then below this, we have a transfer node. And this thing has 4 world interaction upgrades with some speed upgrades in there. Yeah, the world interaction upgrades allow this thing to pull dropped items out of the world and suck them into itself. And then we just have a chest here. Eventually, we'll probably just have this pipe directly into the Tesseract, sending all these items back home. But for right now, this is just kind of the testing phase. I don't want everything set up permanently. So yeah, I moved the Tesseract over here next to the mob grinder. So this thing will always have the correct amount of power. And then I just made some more energy conduits and just ran that under and back behind over here. Yep, so now we're powering this from that cable that comes over from that Tesseract over there. Nothing else has really changed over here. I did add in just some Ender IO quite clear glass. This is not witherproof. If something bad happens, we're going to have problems. I really hope nothing bad is going to happen. But we can make sure this works. Like if I go down in here, I end up in this 3x3 enclosed area. Yep, there's no torches, nothing in here. And then I can use my charm of dislocation to get back out. So that's where we're at right now. I do have the autonomous activators primed. with 1 soul sand each in those bottom 4 and 1 wither skeleton skull in the top 3. I haven't tried this yet. I really hope this is going to work. If it doesn't work, I'm going to be a sad panda. In fact, what I should do is preemptively just pull out this stuff just in case. Yeah, okay. So let's turn this on for the very first time and see if we can kill ourselves a wither boss. We can make one and kill one. All right, so the wither boss should be over here. Looks like it is. I can see all the sparklies. Looks like it blew up and it died immediately. And there's all of our items. Guys, this is awesome. So the next step, this is set, I think by default, 2 seconds between. So we could spawn in a few wither bosses here. I'm gonna need a way to fill these things automatically. I don't have that set up yet. Let's try doing, I don't know, 3. Let's do 3 in a row and see how that works. Okay. And then, 3 skeleton skulls in each one of these. All right, so we turn this thing on. 1, 2, 3. All right, so they're all 3 in there. Okay. So we got 4 division sigils, 4 rare shader grab bags, 4 yellow hearts, and 4 nether stars. So we are collecting everything, and it looks like these things randomly drop sulfur. That's weird. Yeah, so anyway, it looks like we are collecting all the items, and 2 seconds between each spawn might be a little slow. We could probably speed that up. I don't want to go too crazy and have things bunch up, have blocks placed here, and then have like a wither boss stuck on those blocks, not being able to go through the portal. That would be like the worst case scenario. Eventually, I will replace this glass, I believe, with witherproof blocks. In fact, we'll probably enclose this whole thing with witherproof blocks just in case an unfortunate thing happens. A wither boss doesn't go down there, explodes, and tries to get free. We want it contained in like this area. We don't want it to get free. But it looks like this is going to work exactly the way we want it. So we have a way to automatically make wither bosses. We have a way to automatically kill the wither bosses, and we have a way to automatically collect all of their drops. So now the next things we need to work on in order to make this really great is we need a way to automatically collect the wither skeleton skulls, which, you know, that's an obvious thing to do. We need a way to make soul sand and automatically craft this stuff. The recipes for this is we need soulful wax, so we can get this from bees. We're gonna have to set up a lot of bees to make this much soulful wax. But yeah, one of these recipes makes 4 soul sand. We're gonna need dirt sand and 4 the wax. Otherwise, we can make heat sand and tainted soil. I'm not sure how we can make this stuff or if it's even possible. Looks like sludge boiler is the only way to make the tainted and the heat sand. I think you can craft that. No, I guess not. That is sludge boiler as well. Well, that's not very promising, is it? Is there any other recipes besides those 2? Scrap boxes we're not gonna do. Alchemic chemistry set. This might be the best way of doing it now that I'm looking at it. Yeah, we can automatically craft sand. Getting water buckets isn't a thing. I think there's a way you can duplicate weak blood shards. In fact, I think there's might even be bees that can make this. Yeah. So we can make a bee that can make these. I guess that's only an 8% chance, but it does make the soulful wax and the weak blood shard. But we can also duplicate it this way when we get into blood magic. Is that it? I guess we can duplicate it with Botania. All right, well, there's a few things that we can do in the future, but for right now, I am pretty happy with the way this is working. Yes, automatic wither boss, construction, and killing. That's awesome. Guys, I don't think I'm going to broadcast to Twitch right now. Let me cancel out of that. Whoops, wrong button. Guys, I think we're going to go and wrap the episode up here for today. I've had a lot of fun getting this all together. We have a lot of stuff to do to make this fully automated, but for right now, this is going to get the job done. I can go ahead and farm a bunch of the wither skeleton skulls. I can farm a bunch of the soul sand, fill up all the autonomous activators, turn this thing on, just let it rip and not worry about it. Collect, you know, like 9 stacks of nether stars. with all those completely full manually. Yeah, that's going to be pretty awesome. All right, guys, that's it for today. Thank you guys for watching. Remember to leave a like on this episode if you liked it, and we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye-bye.